Hello. Sorry about that. Hello and welcome to News 6 Extra. I am streaming executive producer Thomas Mates, filling in for Julie Broughton. She'll actually be joining us in just a minute. She was covering the noon broadcast for Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos, so she will bring us the forecast in just a few minutes, but I will be playing host today. We've got a lot going on today. We're going to be hitting the road to Claremont as we have all week long. We'll be taking a look at a story from Lisa Bell, News 6 anchor Lisa Bell, about why Claremont has become the choice of champions. An unusual amount of performance athletes have been calling Claremont home for some time now, so she looks into why that is. We're also taking a look at how the tariffs are now starting to impact people's budgets and how people are kind of tightening their belts around that. We'll also get a check on a local senior who is still hitting the gym hard as ever, well into his 70s. News 6 anchor Bridget Ellison will be joining us to tell us his inspiring story. Now, as I said, Julie Broughton joins us now. We have to talk about the weather before we talk about anything else because it is hot, and it is going to stay hot.
Yeah, we are talking about the hottest stretch we have seen since August. And if we're talking about May temperatures, we haven't seen a stretch this hot in May in about 60 years. So this is an unusual weather pattern, and it is going to stick around for us as we roll into next week as well. So we are talking about temperatures today already sitting around 90 degrees in a lot of spots. I think the best chance of setting a new record or tying a record today will be for those of you in Daytona Beach. Let's go ahead and get you to those maps and show you what we're talking about as we head through the next several days. Now, today in Orlando, we're talking about a high around 95 degrees. Our record is 99, and the normal high this time of year, where we typically are, is 89. Now, here's what we're looking at as we roll into next week: mid to upper 90s every single day. So we'll be flirting with record territory as we head through the next several days. But remember, the important numbers will be how it feels. So we are talking about heat index readings in the upper 90s, even low 100s. So if you do have plans outside, make sure you take a lot of breaks, drink a lot of water. 90 right now if you're in DeLand. If you're checking in Wildwood, you are 90 degrees right now. Mico and Melbourne are both at 88. And look at that, Daytona Beach, you are at 89 degrees. Winds coming in out of the southwest are helping to kick temperatures even along the coast into the 90s today. So you will see a sea breeze setting up, but it won't really be able to make it too far inland. And because of that dry air mass in place, it will not be bringing us any showers. Now, here is what is keeping us dry: really a big dome of high pressure on top of us, and this is keeping us hot. You can see that ridge in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, and that allows all that warm air to our south to surge to the north, and that pattern sticks with us until the end of next week, when we'll see our next chance of rain, but even then, only a really small chance of rain. Radar for us scanning out, showing no rain out there to track, so we will keep it dry. Rain chances for the next several days, less than 10%. Clouds and rain forecast for your Friday. We stop the clock at 6 o'clock. A lot of you will be heading home from work around that time. No weather-related issues on the roads. In fact, you can see even very little cloud cover as we take you into your evening hours. If you do have outdoor plans for dinner this evening, it'll still be pretty muggy even around 8 o'clock or so, but you won't be dodging any showers. 7-day forecast showing we go to 95 today, 96 tomorrow. Overnight lows stay in the low to mid 70s. Sunday, we creep into the upper 90s. That's where we stay for Monday. And then Tuesday, 98 degrees. Remember, we are talking about feels like temperatures in the low 100s, 97 on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're tracking a cold front. I use the term cold very loosely. As it moves into our area, it brings with it a 20% chance of some showers, with highs going to 92 degrees. So
frigid.
Yeah, so
bitter cold,
Right.
92 degrees with that cold front.
Yeah, boots with a fur for next Thursday.
Absolutely. I mean, Julie, Candace Campos was telling us that we've only had stretches of weather like this in May, like 2 other times in recorded history. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I mean, we were talking about 60 years ago seeing a stretch, and then I think before that was, I want to say, like 1917. So it's been a minute.
Yeah. Oh, well, stay hydrated. I don't know what your weekend plans are. I know I've got some yard work to take care of, so we'll all be living in it.
Yeah, so the benefit of living in a townhome is I don't have any yard work to take care of. So you enjoy that.
Lucky me. All right, Julie, thank you so much for your time and for joining us on this side of News 6 Extra. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I'll let you go, though, because I know you've got work to do to get ready for the 4. I appreciate it.
All right.
Right, so now we are going to take a look at Claremont again. As we have all week long, we are hitting the road to what has become the choice of champions. Apparently, a lot of high performance athletes, winners, gold medalists even, have called Claremont home. News 6 anchor Lisa Bell went out to Claremont to see why this city has attracted all of these athletes to call it their home sweet home.
From the National Training Center that opened in 2001 to the construction of the new 100,000 square foot AAU Olympus Event Center to triathlons along beautiful Lake Minneola, Claremont has become a magnet for professional and amateur athletes. I want to talk about the motto of the city of Claremont. It's the choice of champions. How did that come about?
Well, we did a workshop with 1,000+ people back in 2013, and it became the motto in 2014.
Interim city manager Rick Van Wagner was on the city council at the time.
And we noticed that we have a lot of Olympians here and people that have trained from all over, they come from all over the world to train here. But we also did that model because we believe citizens can be champions in any area they choose to be in.
Van Wagner says Claremont's unique landscape and year-round warm weather make it an ideal location for athletes training in all types of sports. Tell me about the logo.
The blue and the green represents the hills and the lakes. The iconic M, it's for the choice of champions, and the circle is red for the heart of a champion.
So it's kind of everything that you're going to see in the area, right? We have a huge cycling community here.
Amanda Netherow is with Claremont Main Street, an organization dedicated to promoting local businesses.
Every Saturday morning, they do a park run out of Lake Hiawatha. So we see a ton of people just coming from that. And then we have a lot of the endurance sports are hosted out of waterfront parks.
The city of Claremont's motto is choice of champions. And it does seem like this downtown area is benefiting from some of that sports tourism.
It is. Even with the spring games that we just had for softball, the families from the spring games will come down here for dinner, they'll come down here for lunch in between games just to cool off.
How important is sports tourism and the sports economy to the overall economy here in Claremont?
It's very important. People come, we have a row house here where people come from all over to do rowing and regattas. There's so many things that are coming. We were just talking to US Row about coming perhaps here in the next year or two to start doing training here. So there are a lot of people that want to come here. It's a big part of what we do here.
That was News 6 anchor Lisa Bell reporting. Now, Lisa will be out in Claremont live starting on News 6 at 4. All week long, we've been showing off all of these stories coming out of Claremont, the struggles, but also the highlights of the city in Lake County. So you can find all of that coverage right now at clickorlando.com/hitstheroad. And, let us know what's happening in your community as well through our results decks. Just contact us on the homepage. Let us know any stories that you need us to cover there, and we'll try and get you some results. Now, we have, speaking of athletes, there is a senior in our area that is really inspiring people. He is hitting the gym harder than certainly I am or anyone I know. News 6 anchor Bridget Ellison got the chance to speak with him. Bridget, this gentleman is very impressive.
I really, Thomas, I really wanted to stay at the gym and work out with Chuck Pula. And we featured him back in April because he lifted 100 tons in 2 hours. And it's something that he has been doing ever since he lost his wife about 30 years ago. And that's when he made regular exercise a commitment. And so we wanted to find out, what his secret is. And we wanted to look at more of the data around older Americans and the importance of staying really active and really including exercise in their routines, including strength training. And so we looked into that and we hung out with Chuck at Planet Fitness in Sanford.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Fitness is a lifestyle for Chuck Pula.
5.
One he adopted more than 30 years ago after losing his first wife. At 76 years young, he is defying age through exercise. In April, he lifted 100 tons in a single workout, and he's already thinking of new goals.
So this year was the 100 tons. I'll probably try again in 4 years if I can.
Despite his accomplishments, he'll be the first to tell you he's no professional, just someone committed to consistency.
I need to wipe the machine off.
It's all about that constant movement. You want to move at least 30 minutes a day.
To fight the increased risk for disease associated with aging and sedentary lifestyle, doctors and trainers recommend regular exercise. It is a warning for all ages because muscle mass can start to decline in your 30s.
And around the age 50, you lose about 1 to 2% muscle mass every single year. And so I recommend starting off with a very lightweight.
Physical trainer Jason Medina works with clients of all ages to help them prevent as well as rebound from muscle and bone loss.
The best way to prevent osteoporosis would be to work out for around 12 months. That's when your bone density starts to increase.
Even Pula admits making time to work out isn't always convenient, but you have to squeeze it in.
I just praise God for that. It's like I've had a very healthy life.
I want to add to one of the added benefits for seniors being more active is really, getting out, engaging with their peers and getting out into the community. And so for Chuck, going to the gym is also, a social event, Thomas. And so he really enjoys interacting with people, and he is an inspiration to those around him at the gym because they see he's in there, he's dedicated. But before he retired, he worked for the Parks and Recs department for many years, and he said it's when you're still in your career, it is hard to fit in that time. He said he had to go in at 5 a.m. to the gym just to make sure he got in those workouts. So now that he's retired, of course, he has plenty of time to get over there, and he does enjoy his time there and talking to lots of friends there and meeting new people. He also mentioned that, when it comes to, doing those workouts, the only workout you regret is the one that you don't do. And so you have to agree with that. But sarcopenia is that condition where you start to lose your muscle, and that can begin in your 30s. And then, so no matter what you do, you really have to, fight aging. I mean, it literally is a fight. And then osteoporosis, of course, you're losing your bone density. But the good thing is the trainer said that, it's not too late. You can turn those things around if you get in, with a trainer or get on a fitness routine. But of course, you do want to talk to your doctor first before you start anything new. But the CDC recommends that, you should be getting in at least 75 minutes of vigorous activity a week. And so there are many recommendations that they make, and there are so many benefits from your brain health, heart health, your bones, of course, your muscles. And then, having that stability with your muscles is important too, because so many elderly people are afraid of falling. And so that's why that workout is important too, because they can have stronger muscles, better balance and coordination, and that can help you live by yourself longer. And so it all works together. Lower cancer risk, lower risk of dementia and things like that. And so there are many things, including blood pressure, to keep in mind. And so it's not just what you eat, but also that activity with your body so that you can stay active, independent, and, live a healthy, long life. So it was very educational, but it is Older Americans Month. And the last Wednesday in May is actually Senior Fitness Day. So hopefully there'll be some fun things happening around that in a couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, his story is very inspiring. And you said it yourself in the package. It's consistency. It's getting there, on a schedule every day. It's something I know I certainly struggle with. I'm sure many people watching at home can too. So whether you're older or not, that's the trick.
It is. And, one thing is that we're just so busy. We're time poor. And so whether it's the diet or the exercise, both of those things are really the key. And yesterday I went out to work on a story and went out and met lots of great folks in Apopka, and I talked to a dietitian about how to save money and still buy healthy groceries, because we talk about the prices really being tough right now. But I don't know if you heard, but the price of eggs went down 12.7% month to month. And so that's good news, but they are still 49% higher than a year ago. But, it's still one of those lower priced, nutritious foods that you can stock, in your pantry, in your refrigerator. So, and lots of people have gone to different things to try to find ways to save on those healthy foods that are a bit expensive.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard so many times you can't outrun a bad diet. So, those are the type of things you got to look out for. So we'll definitely look forward to that report. But, I know with the physical activity, it goes beyond just, people who are in their golden years, as it were.
Right.
My father, for instance, he has Parkinson's disease, and I've seen so many stories about the benefits for Parkinson's patients of physical activity, specifically boxing of all things. But yeah,
Wow.
it's all about just like keeping your muscles
And that
moving.
social factor too.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Actually helps. Yeah.
Acts as
So
a support group. Well, Bridget, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing more of this story coming up later this afternoon. And your story is already up right now on clickorlando.com, correct?
that's right. That's right. Thanks
Absolutely.
so much.
All right, Bridget Ellison, thank you so much. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back in about 2 minutes. We'll be taking a look at how tariffs are starting to affect people's budgeting and really forcing them to tighten their belts a little bit. We'll also be speaking with a News 6 viewer who reached out to us through our results desk to try and get some results about a traffic problem in their neighborhood. We spoke to several people around there who all agreed it's a real issue. We'll have all of that coming up in just about 2 minutes.
Your weekend evening traffic alert. Listen up, there is no bad weather coming in. We just got some heat. So construction is going to be there. Southbound 417 Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. We will see heavy lane closures and construction as you approach Lee Vista, kind of the 528 area with a scheduled closure. Same thing here, westbound I-4 approaching Kirkman and the Sand Lake area. A lot of construction happening in the westbound area. So do expect that again Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely. I'll see you Monday morning.
That viewer tells me she's been frustrated with the problems turning out of her community ever since these median barriers were installed on US 27 last year. We asked around and found out she's not alone, with neighbors telling us it's a safety issue.
And you see how little a distance we have to get over 2 lanes.
John Gross has lived in Lake Harris Landing for nearly a decade, but he says in the last year a new road project has caused concerns.
How has this affected the community?
Well, it's become quite dangerous.
Drivers used to be able to turn left out of the 55-plus neighborhood onto US 27. That was until turn lane barriers were constructed to direct traffic in and out of a new convenience store.
Now with all of the additional housing that's going to be built here in this area, it's going to get even worse.
John says it's been difficult cutting across 2 lanes of traffic to make a U-turn at County Road 33 while also watching out for oncoming cars. He says it even led to a bad crash for one of his neighbors.
He was hit in the side, rolled a couple of times, had some serious injuries to his arm.
The community did meet with project leaders before construction to talk about their concerns. John showed us emails where FDOT pledged warning signs to help with speed, but so far, the state hasn't delivered.
What would you like to see happen?
I'd just like to see the promises that they made us kept.
Now, I emailed the Department of Transportation asking why those warning signs haven't been installed and if they will follow through on the issue. So far, I haven't gotten a response. I'll keep you updated on that. Meanwhile, those living here say they hope all of this will bring awareness to the issue and encourage drivers to slow down. Reporting in Lake County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Now, if you have an issue that you've been experiencing that you want us to try and get some coverage on or try and get results for you, head to clickorlando.com. Right on the homepage, you'll see a Contact Us tab in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Click that, and that'll take you right to the News 6 results desk. Now, we know that the tariffs are raising the cost of items, and now it's starting to force some companies to raise their prices along with them. That's creating a chilling effect by consumers across the country. We're seeing people tighten up their budgets. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez went out to see how this is starting to affect people here in Central Florida.
Walmart is the latest store to say that its products will cost more because of tariffs. While the prices have yet to increase substantially, shoppers aren't waiting to start saving.
Haven't been going out as much, been cutting back on the acai bowls, washing my car myself.
Across Central Florida,
I'm going to be spending the day at a conference, and I had to pack all of my food. Eating, and especially at a conference place, is unaffordable.
Shopper after shopper.
I'm definitely worried about saving money. I have a daughter who's a type 1 diabetic.
The story is the same.
I got laid off a year and a half ago, so trying to save money with Social Security, it's impossible.
What we found talking to shoppers is the same thing KPMG found in a recent survey. Americans are tightening their purse strings. 68% of respondents don't want to take on new credit. 43% are delaying buying a new car because of tariffs, and 70% are going to free streaming services instead of paying for Hulu or Netflix.
To make sure they have enough to cover the essential items like food and medication, people I spoke to tell me they're cutting out a lot of other expenses, like eating out.
I'm a football coach and a personal trainer, so I need my protein, I need my eggs, I need my chicken. So I had to cut back on some of my kids' classes. Now I'm teaching them swimming myself. We got our own pool.
Travel's been more, using the car versus flying and whatnot. So instead of eating out or instead of flying and doing all the luxurious kind of things, just doing the normal, all right, we can't do that and spend that kind of money today.
Inflation did cool off a little bit in April, but perception is reality. And for these shoppers, the reality is that they want to save as much money as they can. Reporting in Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
That'll do it for us here on Take 6 today on your Friday. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back starting on News 6 at 4. Julie Broughton will be in with your forecast, and of course we'll have all of the day's headlines for you. Again, that's starting on News 6 at 4, but of course you can always find the latest on clickorlando.com. Thank you so much for your time, and have a pleasant day.